Excerpt from a letter received by Governor Irvis Jackson sent by Dr. Wilford Bellenchamp on December 17, 1985. I have been that despite my personal attendance in the past few months to each and all inquiries in the investigation of Orrin Harley, that not a single report has been as thorough as needed. Ribbons County Police Department was adamant enough to give a list of questions to the board, and I was also interviewed on the days after, yet I feel that the work done was not satisfactory. Public records dictate very little besides the bare facts, as I'm sure they felt was all that was necessary. However, I should preface the papers attached with the suggestions that perhaps the real details that have fallen off are just as necessary. Enclosed with this paper, you will find an envelope with papers of which I refer. Please carefully consider these. My attempts to bring them to the board's attention were ignored, and for what reason I cannot guess. Understand that I was not overly acquainted with Mr. Harley. My superiors noted that I may have been too close to his case for my notes to be truly considered, and while their accusations may hold water, their concerns do not. I was partial to Mr. Hurley. That much I admit, but I'm not so far gone that my duty and testimony would suffer because of it. Taking this into account, you should free your conception of the papers included of any thoughts infected by the reports previously published. My second suggestion, as it were, is to truly give Orrin the benefit of the doubt. In the short time I had known him, I would not call him a liar. There were few times when even the thoughts he'd share with me during our sessions even hinted at any falsehood. This being said, as you finish these papers, you will arrive at the same point that several other authorities have had to consider and failed. It is true that he was, in a sense, deranged. Orrin suffered from his own vices, and by his own hand, suffered a fate that no man should ever have to meet. But these were but consequences, dominoes falling in a chain. Orrin Harley was a traumatized child. The true cause and all of its mystery could not be deciphered. And he took it with him on that last day. I ask of you to see this, and to take his situation into account. He was not a criminal, he was a human being. Your position gives you power, and more importantly, immense sway in the local authorities. It is for this reason I have written to you, and the same reason that I ask for your help. There is talk to deny this man a proper gravestone behind the gates of Winewick Memorial. A marker is a right, not a toy to be taken away. A principal as a physician, a confidant, and his friend. I cannot stand by to see the memory just shrink away, where his own aunt and I cannot pay our respects. No, a body was not found, and as for that matter, I don't think it ever will be. The water was deep, and what was left of the structure had fallen away, deeper into the grounds that the sinkhole gave away. Authorities cannot exhume the sinkhole because of the lack of structural integrity, and this cannot be helped. Mr. Harley is buried, and I demand the respect that a headstone would imbue him. You may reach me by the number and address printed upon the envelope, and in God's name weigh his character and history thoroughly where others would not. Cordially, Dr. Wilford Bellenchamp, Ribbons County Rehabilitation Center, Portland, Oregon. 1985, August 17th. My name is Orrin Harley. I'm an 18-year-old, and I pop pills to make the pain go away. I'm a junkie that's living up on my dear auntie's dime. Boy, I sure wish I could just get my act together. Is that what you want? A little sob story to wet your whistle? Come on and take a sip, Doc. I've got tears to spare. If I were a betting man, I'd wager that you shrinks get off on all that wet, juicy details these other freaks jot down in these little notebooks. This is stupid. You've kept me here for 3 days. You and I both know the little fine print on those papers said I'd be able to leave after 72 hours. It's been a while since middle school, Doc, but my math adds up pretty well. There's a calendar on the wall here, but my god, it's ancient. It's sunbanked and very, very 60s. Couldn't cough up a few bucks to decorate the walls better? They have Playboy ones, you know. Is that something I might be able to request? I promise I would dial back my complaining a bit. 3 days, jeez, what a drag. But, you know, it's been the only thing I can focus on lately. If I stare at a clock, the sores on my arm pulse like I'm mad. I can feel my heartbeat every once in a while. I'm stuck in this room. Tick-tock, tick-tock. When I'm not eyeing the little hands jog around the circle, I take a look at this luxurious window you've given me. Wow, a 12-inch by 12-inch view. What a sight. I could see better out of a glass of a motor oil than this damn thing. I'm due for another methadone dose within the hour. It's nice that you guys care so much to deliver my daily allowance. It'd be something if I could really feel it, but you don't give a milliliter or more than you need to, do you? I suppose I'll pay for that comment later. Pretty soon I'll be getting my fix from a pen cap, and I'm pretty sure you'll see to it. But I'll have to give credit where it's due. I don't mind sharing a couple minutes with that nurse when she comes by to pour my milkshake into the IV. I haven't caught her tag, but I'm pretty sure her name starts with an S. You'll get no dark fantasies out of me, Doc. I'm just not trying to be like that. She's just pretty, is all. If I could get a little word out of her, I'd feel like I'd feel a little better about my extended stay. She's got this proper kind of vibe to her. I think she's good. In a weird way, it almost reminds me of Nick. Dr. B, I don't feel like this is going to do anything. You should know how I feel about it going in. I've never really been a writer. I've always had pretty bad grades. My brother was better. Mom was pretty fine about it, I guess. I don't remember, but that's giving too much away. Isn't it, mister? None of you have to remember this shit, and I think that's something you should keep in mind. You wouldn't believe half of the stuff floating up in here, and I don't think any of you white coats could handle it if you did. Your job is to keep me off the mix, remember? You and what you're trying to do weren't part of the equation. But if this is what you folks want, and if this is what Ms. Honey wants, then I can put pen to paper. But watch yourself, Doc. Keep your nose to the ground and stay out of my attic. I'll play along, but you need to keep to the essentials of our agreement. After all, my aunt is paying you actual money for my treatment. She deserves her cash's worth. What I can't understand is why I bothered mentioning this to Aunt Nizani. In the first place, I've been dealing with these things for years, ever since they gave me to her. She's a wonderful woman for trying to help me, but I think it would have been better if I had just kept my mouth shut. I guess there's been a lot of dreams before I finally coughed up. Not even smack could get them out. They'd all just wait till I'd left my system. I'd have to get some sleep. It'd gotten so bad, I'd wake up just soaking with sweat, right down to my underwear. Remember this one thing, but dreams are a whole different ballgame. Dreams like to make things bigger, make them darker. The faces get all messed up, and it's like you're watching a movie after the film cells have been left out in the rain and mud. Just after a few nights screaming into my pillow for hours and hours, she had enough. I can't lie to her, not when she looks so worried and scared. That lady is something else. Oh dear, I can hear the squeaking wheels in the medicine car coming down the hall. My fellow inmates are having quite a fit out there. We just love our narcotics. I've got to go, Doc. I got a date with a needle and a pretty face. Here's to hoping I get a shot with mysterious Miss S. Wish me luck. I was not present when our new friend, Mr. Owen Harley, arrived, but I've caught quite a glance or two over the following days. I cannot gauge any impression from our staff, as they just seem to see another new face in a sea of familiar ones. I will suggest again that the entire purpose of this institution is to give the care and respect that these people deserve, and that the faculty's interactions with the patients should reflect this. A possible conference may be in order. Regardless, I have not met with him just yet. Despite this, he has built a very strong wall to keep away from me and my work. It appears the second he found that he would be asked to relate his experiences and try to work them out, he shut down and locked the mental door. Desperation is a sign of weakness. He's hurt, and he does not want someone to go try and fix what he himself could not and leave him worse for it. I have scheduled a meeting with Mr. Harley tonight after visiting hours, and I'm hoping this first session will break the ice, so to speak. I would like to explore a more friendly avenue with this patient, and I would request Miss Nizani Begay's contact information so that I may grow more familiar with my subject here. The information available is less than usable. I recommend that methadone dose stay regular and not at measured levels. Dr. Wilford Bellenchamp.